Hi everyone. If you've already seen the intro to this story on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook, you can skip ahead to 2 minutes and 25 seconds. It's marked as full story on the progress bar. For better pacing, you can also set the playback speed to 1.3x. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any new stories. I won't keep you any longer. Enjoy listening. Cheers. My girlfriend turned me into an ATM. She never saw my plan coming. The first time I said, I'll just pay for myself tonight, my girlfriend looked at me like I had slapped her in front of everyone. We were sitting in a crowded tapas bar with 6 of our friends, and the bill was lying between us like a loaded weapon. Mia's hand was already near my wallet, not touching it, just waiting, because that had become the rhythm of our life. I worked. I paid. She sighed with relief, and everyone pretended it was romantic. My name is Ryan, I'm 29, and until that night I confused being reliable with being endlessly available. The waiter asked how we wanted to split it. Before Mia could smile at me with those tired eyes she used whenever money came up, I said, "Mine separately, please, and Mia can cover hers." The table went quiet so fast I heard someone's fork scrape a plate. Mia laughed once, sharp and fake. "You are joking, obviously. Tell him you are joking." I kept my voice low because every stare was on me. "I am not joking. I am paying for what I ordered." Her cheeks turned red, but not from embarrassment. It was anger. "After everything I am dealing with, you choose tonight to humiliate me?" That was the trick. She never said what she was dealing with. It was always vague, heavy, untouchable. A dentist bill, her mother needing help, payroll being weird, a forgotten subscription, an emergency that somehow ended at my banking app. Across the table, Tasha leaned forward. "Ryan, this is seriously not the place." I almost apologized out of habit. Then I remembered the screenshot on my phone, the one I had stared at in the bathroom 5 minutes earlier until my hands went numb. Mia had told me she could not help with rent that month. Again. She had cried while saying it. I had paid her half, cancelled my gym membership, and postponed fixing my car. Then Tasha, drunk and annoyed at Mia for some private reason, had accidentally sent me a message meant for their group chat. It said a girls' trip fund is at 14,800. Mia says do not mention it around Ryan because he thinks she is broke. Under it was Mia's reply. "Exactly, he gets weird about money. Let him feel like the provider." I looked at the woman I had supported for 2 years while she stared back like I was the villain. Mia pushed her chair back and whispered, "Pay the bill right now, or I promise everyone will know who you really are." That was when my phone buzzed again. This time, the message was from my landlord. The landlord's message was short, polite, and impossible to misunderstand. "Hi, Ryan. Rent is still missing for the parking space and utilities adjustment. Mia said you would settle both by tonight." I stared at the screen while Mia stared at me, waiting for me to fold. My parking space? I did not even use it. Mia used it because she hated walking 2 blocks from the cheaper lot. Utilities adjustment. She had told me she transferred it last week. The waiter cleared his throat. "Separate payments are completely fine, sir." Mia's smile disappeared. "Ryan, do not do this little performance." "It is not a performance," I said, and my voice sounded strange because it was calm. "I am paying my part." Tasha glanced at Mia. Jules suddenly found her drink fascinating. Someone coughed. Nobody defended me, but nobody defended her either, and that scared her more than open conflict. Mia leaned close enough that her perfume hit me like a memory. "You are making me look poor." "You told me you were poor," I said. Her fingers tightened around her napkin. "I said I was stretched. There is a difference, and you know that. I paid for my food, my drink, and the appetizer I actually ordered. When the machine beeped, it felt less like a transaction and more like a door closing." Mia sat frozen while the waiter turned to her. "And for the remaining balance?" She looked at me one more time, waiting for rescue. I looked back. For the first time in 2 years, I did nothing. She paid with her own card. The payment went through instantly. No one laughed, and that silence told me everyone had noticed the lie before I had. That little green approval light hit me harder than any confession could have. She did not check her banking app. She did not panic. She just paid because she could. Outside the restaurant, she exploded before I reached the curb. "You enjoyed watching that happen," she said. "You actually enjoyed watching me struggle." "You did not struggle," I answered. "Your card worked immediately." "That is not the point, Ryan. The point is that you changed the rules in public." I laughed once, not because anything was funny. "The rules were that I paid while you lied." Her eyes flicked toward the restaurant windows, where our friends could still see us. She softened immediately, which told me the performance had an audience setting. "Baby, please, I am under pressure." "You know I hate talking about money in front of people." "You talk about my money in front of people," I said. She blinked. "What does that mean?" I held up my phone, but not close enough for her to grab it. The screenshot glowed between us. For 3 seconds her face was empty. Then she said the sentence that told me this was bigger than one dinner. Who else has seen that? I expected denial, Tears, maybe some explanation about a joke being taken out of context. Instead, Mia wanted to know who else knew. That was my first real warning that I had not discovered a mistake. I had disturbed a system. On the ride home, she sat with her arms crossed, breathing through her nose like she was trying not to scream. I kept both hands on the wheel and watched the city lights slide over the windshield. Finally, she said, "Tasha gets messy when she drinks. She twists things." "She sent your exact words," I said. "My exact words after weeks of feeling judged by you," Mia replied. Context matters when people are hurt. I almost fell for it because she sounded wounded, not guilty. That was Mia's gift. She could take the knife out of your back and cry because the handle hurt her hand. When we first moved in together, money had seemed simple. I earned more as a financial analyst at a logistics company. She worked in marketing for a boutique firm and said her pay was decent but inconsistent because of commission bonuses, delayed reimbursements, client lunches, all the normal corporate excuses that sound boring enough to be true. She never asked for anything huge at first. She trained me with small emergencies, the kind that made saying no feel uglier than paying. At first I offered to cover 60% of rent. Then her mother's car needed repairs, so I covered 80. Then her dental work happened, so I covered the full month. Then she promised to catch up after a bonus that never arrived. Every time I asked, she made it emotional. "You know I am trying," she would say. "I never said you are not trying," I would answer. "But you are counting every pound," she would whisper, and somehow counting became cruelty. By the time we reached our building, she had changed tactics. She touched my arm lightly, the way she used to when asking me to pick a movie. "Let's go upstairs and talk like adults." I was embarrassed, Ryan. "So was I said. She looked relieved, thinking she had found the opening. Then we both made mistakes tonight," I said carefully. "That is not how I see it. I made payments. You made a story." The elevator ride was silent. On our floor, Mrs. Alvarez from 7B stepped out with her little dog and smiled at Mia. "Big vacation coming, sweetheart?" Mia went stiff. I looked at Mrs. Alvarez. "What vacation is that?" The older woman laughed softly. "The girls were taking photos in the lobby yesterday. Suitcases, swimsuits, very glamorous. I said I was jealous." Mia's keys slipped from her hand and hit the floor. She crouched too quickly to pick them up, but not before I saw the luggage tag dangling from her tote. It said, in gold letters, Santorini Preview Weekend. Inside the apartment, Mia dropped her tote behind the sofa as if the luggage tag might burn a hole through the floor. I did not move toward it. I did not need to. The fact that she was hiding it told me enough for the moment. I said her name carefully. "What is Santorini Preview Weekend?" She took off her earrings slowly, buying time. "It is just a theme for Tasha's birthday thing." "A theme with actual suitcases? You are being weirdly aggressive." There it was again. The spotlight turned back on me. Her secret became my tone. Her lie became my attitude. I stood in the kitchen, still holding my jacket, suddenly aware that every question I asked would be judged by how gently I asked it, feeling like I had walked into a courtroom where the verdict had been written before I arrived. I could feel myself wanting to defend my tone instead of questioning her story, and that scared me because it meant the trick still worked. "I paid rent this month because you said you had nothing left after helping your mother," I said. "My mother really needed help." "How much did you send her?" Mia's mouth tightened. "That is private family stuff. It became my stuff when I paid your bills." She stared at me like I had said something vulgar. "Couples help each other. Healthy couples do not demand receipts." "Healthy couples do not fake poverty," I said. Her eyes filled with tears so quickly I hated myself for noticing the timing. "You think I am a gold digger now. I think you have money you did not mention." "That is not the same thing," she said. "Women need safety money. You would not understand that because men leave whenever things get inconvenient." I stepped back, actually stunned. "I have stayed through every inconvenience you handed me." She wiped one tear with the back of her wrist. "And now you resent me for it." The worst part was that a small part of me wanted to comfort her. That reflex had been trained into me. When Mia cried, I solved. When Mia panicked, I paid. When Mia felt cornered, I became the corner. Then my phone buzzed again. Tasha had sent another message. "Ryan, I do not want drama, but Mia is telling people you cut her off financially tonight. She says you control all the money. Please be careful." I showed Mia the screen. For a moment, she looked genuinely scared. Then her face hardened. "So now Tasha is your new girlfriend?" "That is your response?" I asked. "My response is that you are collecting women against me." "I am collecting facts," I said. She walked past me to the bedroom and slammed the door hard enough to rattle a picture frame. A minute later, I heard her on the phone, voice soft and broken. "He is twisting everything," she whispered. Then I heard my name, and after that, my mother's. Hearing Mia say my mother's name from behind our bedroom door made my stomach drop in a way the screenshot had not. Money was one thing, my family was another. I knocked once. "Why are you calling my mother?" The whispering stopped. Mia opened the door with red eyes and the wounded expression she used when she wanted witnesses. Because someone should know you are not okay. I looked past her. My mother's voice came through the speaker, worried and confused. Ryan, sweetheart, what is happening tonight? Mia held the phone between us like evidence. I told her you embarrassed me in public and accused me of stealing from you. I never said stealing, I said. You implied it with everything. My mother sighed. She had always liked Mia because Mia remembered birthdays, brought flowers, and called her Mama Linda in that charming way that made manipulation look like warmth. Ryan, maybe you both need to calm down before saying things you cannot take back. That sentence hit exactly where Mia wanted it to. Now the problem was not the money, it was my temper, my wording, my ability to remain lovable while being exploited. I kept my voice steady. Please ask Mia why she told me she could not pay rent while saving almost $15,000 for a trip. Silence came through the phone. Mia's lips parted. That money is not for a trip, it is complicated. My mother's voice changed. Mia, is that true? Mia's eyes flashed at me. I am not discussing my private finances with his mother while he interrogates me. She hung up before my mother could respond. The apartment became painfully quiet, and I felt trapped inside the silence. The fridge hummed. Someone laughed in the hallway. Mia hugged herself as if she had been attacked. You humiliated me again, she said. You called my mother to build a case against me. I called her because you scared me. That was when I understood how dangerous the word scared could become in the wrong mouth. I had not yelled. I had not touched her. I had not blocked the door. But if she said I scared her, people would stop asking what she had done and start asking what I might do. So I sat at the table and opened my banking app. Mia watched from the doorway, silent. She did not look afraid of what I might do. She looked afraid of what I might finally see. What are you doing now? She asked. Making a list of payments. The total climbed while her breathing got louder. Rent, utilities, groceries, her car insurance, dinners, clothes, trips. Some charges were attached to memories I used to love, and seeing them as evidence made me feel foolish and furious at the same time. Then I found one charge I did not recognize. $700 to a travel agency. The travel agency charge sat on my screen like a dare. I remembered that weekend clearly because Mia had told me she was too stressed to leave the apartment. I had bought groceries, made pasta, and watched her sleep on the couch while feeling guilty that I could not do more. I said her name quietly. Why did my card pay $700 to Horizon Blue Travel? She moved so fast from the doorway that I instinctively turned the phone away. That is not what you think. What do you think I think? You think everything is some crime now. I think my card was used for travel while you told me you had no money. She folded her arms. It was a deposit, and I was going to tell you. For what purpose exactly? For Tasha's birthday weekend. You used my card for Tasha's birthday weekend? I used the card we used for household overflow. That phrase almost made me dizzy. Household overflow, it was my credit card. She had renamed my boundaries until they sounded selfish and renamed her access until it sounded practical. It was my debt if things went wrong. I had added her as an authorized user during a month when she said her bank had frozen her account after suspicious activity. I never removed it because I trusted her, and because she acted offended whenever trust required boundaries. That card is for emergencies, I said. It felt like an emergency at the time. A birthday weekend felt like an emergency? She looked straight at me. My friendships matter, Ryan. The betrayal was not just the money. It was how smoothly she could put a moral frame around anything she wanted. If I questioned a trip, I was isolating her. If I questioned rent, I was punishing her for earning less. If I questioned a charge, I was obsessed with control. I removed her from the card while she watched. It took less than a minute, which made me feel stupid for waiting almost 2 years. Her face changed before she could hide it. Panic first, then calculation, then hurt. You are financially abusing me, she said quietly. My fingers stopped above the screen. Do not use that phrase casually. I am not using it casually. You are cutting off access to money because I upset you. I am cutting off access to my credit card because you used it without telling me. She grabbed her coat from the chair. I cannot be here when you are like this. She left without her tote, which meant she left in anger, not strategy. For 10 minutes, I sat there with the apartment suddenly enormous around me. Then my phone lit up with a group notification from people I worked with. A message from my coworker Nate appeared before it was deleted. Careful with Ryan tomorrow. Mia says he is spiraling over money and might cause a scene at the office. By morning, the story had outrun me. I had not posted anything, called anyone, or even replied to Tasha. Mia had gone quiet, which I knew by then meant she was working through other people. At 8:42, my manager, Elaine, asked if I could step into a small conference room. She used the gentle voice managers use when HR is nearby, even if HR is not in the room. Ryan, I heard there was some personal tension involving people from the team, she said. I sat down slowly. People from the team, Elaine? Elaine looked uncomfortable. Nate mentioned there may be concerns about your behavior at a social event. Nate worked in client strategy. He also went to college with Mia's friend Jules. He had no business knowing about my dinner, my rent, or my credit card unless someone had handed him the script. What concerns did he mention? I asked. Elaine chose her words carefully. That you may have confronted Mia about finances in a way that made others uncomfortable? I felt my face go hot, not because I was guilty, but because the trap was elegant. If I defended myself too hard, I looked unstable. If I stayed quiet, the lie became background noise. I paid for my own meal, I said. That is the confrontation. Elaine blinked. That was everything public? That was everything in public. She leaned back. I am not asking for private details. I just need assurance nothing from home comes into work. I agree completely, I said. I wanted to add that I had been dragged here, not that I had arrived with drama in my hands, but I kept that sentence behind my teeth. When I left, 2 analysts stopped talking near the coffee machine. One of them gave me the tight smile people give when they already heard a version of you they prefer. I wanted to explain, but office gossip feeds on explanations, and I could already feel my promotion becoming part of the room. At lunch, Nate slid into the chair across from me without asking. Rough night, man. I closed my laptop. Why are you discussing my relationship with Elaine? He raised both palms. Mia was upset. Jules was worried. I did not want this becoming a workplace issue. You made it a workplace issue. His smile stayed friendly, but his eyes did not. Sometimes guys do not realize how money can become pressure. I stared at him. Sometimes co-workers do not realize gossip can become defamation. For the first time, his smile slipped. My phone buzzed. Mia had finally texted. I hope you are proud. I had to borrow money for coffee because you removed me from the card. I typed, you have your salary and your savings. Her reply came instantly, and below it was a screenshot of a draft email addressed to HR. Keep pretending you do not know why women need escape funds. The subject line of Mia's draft email was, concern about financial control and retaliation. I read it 3 times in the bathroom stall at work, my hands cold around the phone. She had not sent it yet, or at least she wanted me to think she had not. The body was a careful mixture of truth, emotion, and missing context. It said I had suddenly restricted shared financial resources, embarrassed her in front of mutual friends, and created fear around basic expenses. It was written like a corporate complaint, not a panicked message from a girlfriend. Someone had either helped her polish it, or she had been preparing it longer than I wanted to believe. She did not mention the travel agency. She did not mention the rent. She did not mention the screenshot where she called me the provider like a role she had assigned without consent. I texted back, do not threaten me with HR over a private spending boundary. She replied, then stop acting like I am your enemy. That sentence almost broke me because I still loved her enough to wish she were not becoming one. I hated that part of myself, the part that still listened for the old Mia under the new threat. After work, I went straight home. Mia was in the kitchen when I arrived, wearing my hoodie and making tea like we were a normal couple after a normal day. Can we restart this conversation? She asked. I stayed by the door. Restart what exactly? This whole ugly energy, I hate us like this. She had lit the candle I liked. She had bought my favorite biscuits. For 1 second, the apartment looked exactly like the life I had been trying to protect. Then she said, I just need you to apologize to Nate. The illusion cracked. Why would I apologize to Nate? Because he feels you threatened him. I told him gossip could become defamation. That sounds threatening when you are already being intense. I put my keys down carefully. Mia, did you ask him to talk to Elaine? She looked away for half a second. I told Jules I was scared. Jules told Nate, people care about me. People are being used by you. Her eyes sharpened. There is the cruel version of you. I walked past her and opened the cabinet where we kept bills, envelopes, warranties, and the boring paperwork of adult life. I pulled out the lease. What are you doing now? She asked. Checking whose name is legally attached to what. Her calm vanished. You would kick me out? I said I am checking the lease. You want me homeless because I did not let you control my savings. The front door buzzed before I could answer. Mia looked at her phone, then at me. That is probably Tasha, she said. But when I opened the intercom camera, it was not Tasha. It was my mother. My mother, standing downstairs with a paper grocery bag in her arms, felt like a childhood nightmare and a family intervention at the same time. Mia rushed past me to buzz her in before I could speak. She came because she cares, Mia said. She came because you called her. She is not your enemy, Ryan. 5 minutes later, my mother sat at our kitchen table while Mia poured tea with trembling hands. The performance was softer now, almost domestic. Mia looked small in my hoodie. I looked, I'm sure, like the man with the spreadsheet, the lease, and the proof. My mother reached for my hand. Tell me what is happening without anger. That request hurt because anger was the only honest emotion I had left, but I swallowed it anyway. So I did. I explained the rent, the card, the dinner, the travel agency, the screenshot. I did not mention every dinner or every dress or every small humiliation because I knew a long list could make even the truth sound like obsession. I kept my voice level because I knew one raised word would become the headline. Mia listened with tears slipping down her cheeks. When I finished, she whispered, "He makes it sound so simple." My mother looked at her. "Then make it less simple." Mia inhaled shakily. "I have been saving because I never felt fully safe. Ryan is wonderful when things are easy, but when money comes up, he becomes cold. I was afraid if I told him about my savings, he would demand access." "I never asked for access," I said. "You did not need to ask. The pressure was always there." My mother frowned. "Mia, did you tell him you could not pay rent?" Mia wiped her face. "I said I was overwhelmed." "You said you had nothing." She turned to my mother. "See how he tracks exact words?" For a moment, even my mother looked uncertain, and that hurt more than I expected. Mia had found the weak point. Exactness made me look petty. Emotion made her look human. Then my mother asked one quiet question. "Did you use his credit card for a trip?" Mia's face changed. "It was for a group deposit, and I planned to reimburse him." "When would that happen?" Mia stared at her tea. That silence did what my anger could not. My mother stood up slowly. "Ryan, you should stay with me tonight." Mia's head snapped up. "Linda, please do not encourage this." "I am encouraging space," my mother said. "That is different." Mia followed us to the door, crying harder now. "If he leaves, he proves my point. He always withdraws love when I disappoint him." I almost turned back. Then my mother said, "Mia, love is not access to his wallet." Mia stopped crying instantly. Behind her, on the kitchen counter, her phone lit up with a message from Nate. "Did Linda buy it?" The message from Nate stayed on Mia's screen for maybe 2 seconds before she flipped the phone over, but my mother saw it too. That mattered. For once I was not alone with the thing I had seen. Mia reached for the phone. "That is not what it looks like." My mother's face went very still. "It looks like you discussed manipulating me." "No, I meant whether you understood my side." "With Nate involved?" I asked. Mia's silence answered before she did. My mother picked up her grocery bag and walked to the door. "Ryan, get your coat now." Mia's voice turned sharp. So that is it? One text and I become the villain?" "One text did not do this," I said. "It only forgot to hide." I slept at my mother's house that night in the guest room with the faded blue curtains from when I was 16. At 2 in the morning, I opened my banking app again, not to punish myself, but because I needed to know what had happened to my life in numbers. Rent transfers, grocery deliveries, ride shares, concert tickets, birthday dinners, office outfits, therapy copays she said insurance had delayed, a weekend spa visit she called mental health recovery. I exported everything into a spreadsheet because emotions had become unsafe. Numbers at least did not cry and accuse me of cruelty. I labeled every line with dates, not insults, because I had finally understood that the cleanest truth would be harder to twist. At 6:17, Tasha called. Seeing her name made my stomach twist because until then she had been part of Mia's audience, not mine. I answered anyway, because the worst thing had already happened in my imagination. "I am sorry," she said before I spoke. Her voice was hoarse. "I sent that first screenshot because I was angry, but you need to know the rest." "What is the rest?" She exhaled. "Mia told us you insisted on paying for everything because you liked feeling needed." I sat up. "She said that?" "She said you got weird if she offered to pay. She said letting you cover stuff kept the peace." I looked at the spreadsheet on my laptop. The total at the bottom was over $32,000 across 2 years, and that did not include rent gaps I had normalized. Tasha continued. "For the girls' trip, she told everyone you were covering her share as an apology for being difficult about commitment. I never agreed to that. I know that now. But Ryan, there is another thing. Some of us already paid her back for deposits." I gripped the phone. "Paid her back for which deposits?" "The travel agency, the villa hold, the airport transfer. She said she put it on your card because you two share finances." I opened the credit card app again and searched the agency name. There were not one but 3 pending charges. 3 pending travel charges changed the room around me. They were not huge individually, not the kind of numbers that make a bank call you in panic, but together they told a story I had not consented to. Mia had used my card, collected money from her friends, and still told me she was broke. Tasha stayed on the line while I took screenshots. "I did not know," she said. "I swear I thought you two had some provider arrangement." "We had a boyfriend arrangement," I said. "Apparently she had an ATM arrangement now." Tasha was quiet for a beat. "There is more, and I hate saying it." My stomach tightened. "Say it clearly." "Jules told Nate because Nate told her he could help protect Mia at work. But Nate has been pushing for your senior analyst spot since March." That landed differently. It was not just relationship drama leaking into work. Someone at work was benefiting from the leak. The same man warning people I might be unstable was competing for the promotion that required everyone to trust my judgment. At 9, I called the credit card company. I did not claim fraud because Mia had been an authorized user. I told the truth. I wanted her removed, new card numbers issued, and all pending travel charges reviewed before posting. I asked for confirmation in writing because Mia had taught me that memory was useless when someone else controlled the story. The representative was bored but efficient, which felt strangely comforting because her normal tone made the chaos feel like a problem with steps. Real life does not always need dramatic music, sometimes it just needs paperwork. Then I texted Mia. I removed you from my card. I will pay my half of rent and utilities going forward. I will not pay your personal expenses, travel, social events, clothes, rides, gifts, or reimbursements. Send your half by the 1st. Her reply came after 4 minutes. You are enjoying having power over me. I typed, I am refusing to fund lies. She called immediately. I let it ring until she texted again. If you do this, I cannot keep the apartment. That was the first honest thing she had said. Then we discuss ending the lease or you find a roommate, I replied. By noon, Mia posted an Instagram story. It was a black screen with white text. Financial abuse is real. Believe women when they finally speak. My name was not there, but my coworker started viewing it within minutes. At 6, Elaine called. Is there any risk of workplace disruption tomorrow? I said, no, I am not afraid to say it, but Nate has been discussing my relationship at work, and I am documenting that. That night, Mia came to my mother's house with Tasha beside her. When my mother opened, Mia lifted her phone, already recording. The red recording dot changed everything. Mia stood on my mother's porch with wet eyes, Tasha behind her looking miserable, and the phone angled just low enough to catch my face if I stepped closer. I want my belongings, Mia said clearly. Please do not block me. My mother's expression went cold. Nobody is blocking you from anything. I stayed in the hallway. We can arrange a time with the landlord or a neutral person present. Mia's voice trembled for the camera. I should not need supervision to enter my own home. Tasha shifted behind her. Mia, maybe put the phone down. Mia ignored her. Ryan, please tell your mother I am allowed to get my passport and medication. That was designed perfectly. Passport and medication sounded urgent, vulnerable, undeniable. It was the kind of phrase strangers would repeat without asking what actually happened before the camera started. It also made me look monstrous if I hesitated. That was the genius of it. She had chosen 2 items no decent person would question, then wrapped them around a camera. Your passport and medication are in the apartment, I said. I am not there. You changed the atmosphere, so I cannot safely go alone. My mother stepped forward. Then I will go with you. Mia blinked. That was not the answer she wanted. Tasha spoke quietly. I can go with everyone. For a second, Mia's mask slipped into irritation. I do not need a committee. You brought a camera, I said. That is already a committee. She stopped recording. The silence after that felt like a curtain dropping backstage. Mia's tears dried into anger. You think you are so clever now. I said, no, I think I was very slow. Tasha looked at me with apology, then turned to Mia. I need to ask you something before we go anywhere. Mia's jaw tightened. This is not the time. It is exactly the time, Tasha said. Did Ryan know we paid you for the travel deposits? Mia went pale. My mother looked from Tasha to me. I said nothing because the scene no longer needed me. Mia whispered, You are humiliating me on his mother's porch. You humiliated yourself when you took our money and his card, Tasha said. Mia stepped back as if slapped. I handled logistics for everyone. Do you understand how much work that is? Not $14,000 of work, Tasha answered. There it was. The number had entered the air with witnesses. Mia looked at me then, not with sadness or love, but with calculation. Ryan, if you make me look like a thief, I will make sure everyone knows what you did to my career. I froze. What career damage? I asked. Tasha closed her eyes like she already knew. Mia smiled without warmth. Ask Nate what HR received this morning. For the first time in 2 days, I felt real fear. Not heartbreak, not anger, but the cold, practical fear of realizing someone had already moved while you were still trying to understand the rules. What did HR receive? I asked. Mia put her phone in her coat pocket. A statement from someone concerned. Tasha's face twisted. Mia, please tell me you did not. Mia turned on her. You do not get to betray me and then police my survival. My mother stepped between them. Everyone needs to leave my porch now. That night, I wrote a timeline because panic makes everything feel simultaneous, and timelines force events to stand in line. Dinner, landlord text, credit card removal, HR threat, Nate's deleted message, Instagram story, porch recording, travel reimbursements. I attached screenshots but kept my commentary dry. No insults, no diagnosis, no revenge language. I even removed one sentence where I called the situation insane because I knew that word could come back wearing my face. At 7:30 the next morning, HR emailed me. The subject was confidential meeting request. At 11, I entered the HR room with a folder and no idea whether I was walking into discipline or disaster. I had dressed more carefully than usual, as if a pressed shirt could prove I was sane. Priya from Employee Relations smiled professionally. Elaine did not smile. Priya opened her notebook. We received information that you may have used financial leverage to influence a colleague's personal decisions. Then she placed one printed screenshot on the table. It was edited. The screenshot showed my text to Mia. I will not pay your personal expenses, travel, social events, clothes, rides, gifts, or reimbursements. Under it, another message from me appeared. If you do not cooperate, you cannot keep the apartment. My stomach dropped because I had written words close to those, but not like that. In the real thread, I had said, yeah, then we discuss ending the lease or you find a roommate. The edited version made it sound like a threat. Priya watched my face. Do you recognize this exchange? I recognize parts of it, I said. It has been altered. Elaine finally looked at me directly. Can you provide the original? Yes, I can provide it. My hands shook only slightly as I opened my phone. I showed the full thread, then emailed it to Priya in the room. She read without changing expression, but Elaine's shoulders lowered by maybe 1 inch. Priya said, "This is helpful. We are not making conclusions today." When I left, Nate was waiting near the printers with a relaxed smile. I sent HR the original, I told him. His smile twitched. Then he said, "Careful, Ryan. Accusing people has consequences." That evening, I met Mia at the apartment with my mother, Tasha, and Mr. Keller present. Mia hated every second of that audience. She packed quickly, slamming drawers and accusing me of making her unsafe with witnesses. Then Mr. Keller checked his tablet and frowned. Mr. Keller looked at Mia. "Why did you tell me Ryan approved adding Nate as an emergency contact?" Mia stopped with a sweater halfway into her suitcase. That was the first time all night she looked shocked by evidence instead of offended by accusation. I looked at Mr. Keller. "Nate is not my emergency contact." He turned the tablet toward me. "I received an email from Mia last month saying you both wanted him added because he was nearby and trusted." Mia dropped the sweater onto the floor hard. "That was for convenience." Tasha whispered. "Convenience for what exactly?" Mia ignored her and faced the landlord. "It was not a legal change, it was just contact information." Mr. Keller shrugged. "True, but you also asked whether a second key could be released to him if Ryan was unavailable." My mother made a small sound. I stared at Mia. Why would Nate need a key to our apartment? The question sounded simple, but it changed the air. It turned money into access, access into planning, and planning into something much uglier than a hidden savings account. She looked cornered now, really cornered, without tears ready fast enough to save her. "Because he helped when you traveled for work." I have not traveled for work since February. Nobody spoke. Tasha's face went pale in a way that told me she was connecting pieces I did not have yet. "Mia, was Nate supposed to stay there before the trip?" Mia snapped, "Do not make this disgusting." But the word disgusting arrived before an accusation did, and that told everyone where her mind had gone. I did not want to ask. I asked anyway. "Are you involved with Nate?" She laughed too loudly. "This is what insecure men do. They cannot handle money conversations, so they invent cheating." Tasha stepped forward. Mia, you told Jules the apartment would be easier after Ryan moved out." My lungs forgot how to work. "So it is true?" I asked. "It was a possibility," Mia said. "You were becoming impossible to live with." The twist was not that she had savings. It was not even that she had lied about money. It was that she had been building a replacement life inside the one I was paying for. My apartment, my card, my reputation, even my workplace were all being rearranged so I would leave looking unstable while she landed softly. Then her phone rang on the counter. The caller ID was Nate. Mr. Keller glanced at it and said, "That is the same email address that asked about the key." Nate's name glowing on Mia's phone felt less like evidence than confirmation of a map I had been too trusting to see. Mia grabbed the phone, but Tasha was faster. "Put it on speaker," Tasha said. Mia recoiled. "You do not get to command me." Then I will assume Ryan was right about everything. That hit. Mia's pride could survive guilt, but not losing control of the room. She answered on speaker with a shaking hand. Nate's voice came through, casual and impatient. "Did Keller release the key issue or not?" Nobody breathed. Mia closed her eyes. "Nate, stop talking immediately." He paused. "Who is there?" Mr. Keller leaned toward the phone. "The landlord you emailed." The call ended instantly. Tasha broke first. "I transferred you $2,100 for the villa and flights. Jules sent you more. Nora sent you cash. Did any of that go back to Ryan?" Mia stared at the floor. "I was going to balance it." "When would you balance it?" Tasha asked. "When things stabilized." Stabilized meant when I stopped noticing. After that, everything became boring, legal, and devastating. Mr. Keller refused to release keys or add anyone without fresh applications. HR reviewed my original messages, the edited screenshot, and Nate's work emails. They never told me his punishment, but he returned from leave with a different title. The girls cancelled the trip unless Mia refunded them, and once Nora posted the villa contract from Nate's email, even her defenders stopped pretending. I did not post receipts online. I separated bills. I cancelled the card, subscriptions, delivery accounts, and every convenience she had called shared until payment was due. I paid my legal share. I sent her invoices for hers. The first month she ignored them. Mr. Keller emailed both of us. Outstanding tenant balance remains unpaid. Mia replied all, Ryan has always handled this. Mr. Keller answered, the lease lists both tenants. That was the payoff. The adult world did not care about the girlfriend discount. I got the senior analyst role in June. I took my mother to dinner and paid because I wanted to, not because someone had trained me to. 3 months later, Mia emailed me. She said money made her feel powerless, Nate manipulated her too, and she hoped I remembered the good parts. I replied, I remember the good parts, I also remember the receipts. Please contact me only about remaining lease obligations. People ask whether couples should split everything equally. I do not think that is the real question. Sometimes one person pays more because life happens, and love is not a calculator. But love is not an ATM either. The day I stopped sponsoring the lie, Mia did not lose a boyfriend who was cheap. She lost the lifestyle she had mistaken for love. And that's the end of this story. Whose side are you on? Share your opinion in the comments, leave a like, and subscribe with the notification bell on if you want more stories like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.